With its latest decision and the commentary, the Fed is lending more support to the idea that we are coming in for a soft economic landing. Right now, we've got a chance to get an on-the-ground look at consumer spending in one of the most popular categories, and that'd be restaurants. Joining us is Debby Soo, the CEO of booking platform OpenTable. And Debbie, lay this out for us. First of all, what percentage of restaurant reservations go through OpenTable?
It depends on the restaurant, actually, but a large majority of the reservations are coming through online reservations on platforms such as OpenTable. We saw during the pandemic that people really wanted to book online and secure that reservation. Restaurants wanted that too. It helps with their flow for capacity and how they run their restaurants. And that's a trend that we believe is going to stay. So online restaurant reservations are up year over year, 9%. And we're seeing walk-ins and phone reservations down year over year. And so I don't know about you, but it's been real hard to get a restaurant reservation at a hot restaurant. Getting a reservation has been a contact sport. And we think that trend is here to stay for next year as well.
I've noticed that too, but it certainly seems like it is with hot restaurants in urban areas. What percentage,
Correct.
Let's say, of, again, just trying to get a feel for how many restaurants are actually doing this, what percentage of those reservations are coming through OpenTable and the like other online reservations platforms?
We have 55,000 restaurants. Yeah, so we have 55,000 restaurants on our platform. And again, like I can give in generalities, more than half, in some cases 70 or 80% of restaurant reservations are coming through online.
For hot restaurants in urban areas?
For hot restaurants, but also we're seeing that in more suburban areas, in restaurants that have been around for a long time and are local favorites. That's a stat that in a generality is what we see.
Okay, what are you seeing right now just in terms of demand at restaurants and what that might mean to ticket sales for these restaurants?
Demand we're seeing this year is holding relatively flat. So if you look at the dining activity this year versus last year, it's holding pretty steady. And I think what's going on with the macroeconomic uncertainty and the inflation concerns this year, being flat's pretty good and pretty impressive. We're also seeing we think it's going to be a really popular and good, strong holiday season. This year for Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, we saw year over year up activity, and we expect to see much the same for the next 2 weeks.
Do you get any sense of ticket sales? Only because we have heard from wine enthusiasts, other places, that they are paying more in terms of drinks, and that is definitely driving up ticket sales. Do you get any access to that?
Yes, we do. So for the restaurants that we're seeing holiday spend, for example, so that would include, the spend that's happening in the next 2 weeks, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. The spend increases for special occasions at about 15% versus normal. So we do see that people are spending more. They're really prioritizing their discretionary dollars on special occasions while they dine out.
How is that compared to last year, special occasions like holiday last year?
Yeah, it's roughly the same. Actually, we are seeing a slight increase, even if you look at that increase in spend. But this year, it's coming in even higher.
What are your concerns? What are your thoughts when it comes to the economy? I mean, we've been talking all day about how the Fed is now seeing a softer economic landing as a real possibility. What do you think?
I think it's great if there's a little bit more stability in the upcoming year. Inflation and rising labor costs and supply costs is terribly disruptive for restaurants. It's an industry that historically runs on very razor-thin margins. So disruptions like this can be catastrophic to their P&L. But I don't know. I think this year there was a lot of uncertainty on the economic front, and we saw diners continue to prioritize going out to eat, continue to prioritize the experiential. And so I think even in a potential downturn, that demand is going to hold. And if things get better and that uncertainty subsides, hopefully we'll see even more dining activity happen.
Debbie, one of the huge issues for restaurants over the last several years since the pandemic has been being able to find enough workers for the restaurants. Where do things stand on the labor front, just in terms of finding people and then what you have to pay those people to come in?
It continues to be really hard. In October, the hospitality industry lost about 7,500 jobs. And there's a lot of issues at play here. One of them is tipping, for example. It's been a very controversial topic, and I'm sure you can understand why. From a service, I hope we can all agree that a service worker should be paid a livable wage. And what's uncertain, what there's controversy about is who shoulders the burden or the cost of that. Is it the restaurant or is it the diner? So I imagine that this is going to be a topic that we're going to continue to hear about next year as well.